Oh yeah. Hey, salute, salute. We got some brothers online, man. Salute. Good to have everybody on. All right. What I'm doing right now is I'm restarting this live stream. There we go. All right, there we go. Now I got audio on here. I'm restarting this live stream that I was doing. I essentially went live. Hey, salute, salute. I went live here on Zoom, and essentially everything was muted. You know what I'm saying? So I was tapped in for about 30 minutes straight. So I'm gonna sum up everything about 20 minutes. Thank you, TL, for that insight right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we create this effect again, right? So let me tap in. Not bring my pin out here. It's all good. Some water real quick. All right, salute, salute. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Master Table. This is the official production, all right? The first time around, I was muted and so on and so forth, but regardless, we're here and we're back to it, all right? So excited to see what effects we go ahead and create on a consistent basis together. And make sure that I have turned this off. All right, great. So today's topic was, 5 reasons why you're suffering in this life, right? And so I took the time to go ahead and strip these out. Essentially, these are 5 reasons why a lot of people stay stuck in this life. A lot of people fail to, expand beyond, what it is that they're experiencing because they stay in this cycle, right? And they do not take responsibility, right? The responsibility that they have in this moment and at this point in time, all right? So first and foremost, know and understand everything that I say here is done under the banner of entertainment. So don't take what it is I say seriously, all right? Number 2, know and understand this is for adults and adults only, all right? No kids in the room. If there are kids in the room, put your earplugs in or, move out the room, whatever the case may be. Number 3, do not break the laws of the land you're tuning in from, wherever it is that you are. Number 4, like I said in number 2, you are an adult. And that means that you're responsible for your own actions, all right? Number 5, while you're here at the master's table, this live stream, you are known as a master, right? So treat your life accordingly. Move with that authority in this life and know and understand here at this point in time, you are meant to be a master, right? So once again, like I said, salute to all the brothers that's here and tapped in from IMC Nation and also outside of IMC here on IG. And, this is a production in the sense of, we are constantly creating. We've been in creation for years at this point within IMC Nation. And this is one of those platforms that you can start to change your life when you start to understand the fundamentals in which this is built on, right? And so we're going to go through some of those, right? But one of the main understandings or main datums, right, to know in this life or to know at this point in time is to know that you, whether you recognize it or not, you've been stuck in a state of suffering, right? You've been moving less than extraordinary in this life, right? And the reason why that is because you have failed to take on a responsibility in this life, right? So for whoever that is that has failed to take on the responsibilities in this life, I can tell you 5 reasons specifically, right, as to why that is from my own perspective, right? And you take this and run with it and so on and so forth, right? But we're going to go through these 5 things. We'll have some insights, before we get off of here, and then we'll do a quick meditative moment. It's one of my favorite activities to do while we're here and tapped in, all right? So number 1, and this is something that's been consistent in almost every stream in which I put forth here is, yes, sir, I'll say, the failure to utilize your own gifts in this life, right? There are several gifts in this life. And essentially, the main gift that I can say that we can all recognize, we're all familiar with, is our mind, right? And so the failure to utilize your mind in this life is one of the reasons why you continue to suffer, right? You're going to stay in that cycle. You're going to stay in that same storyline until you decide that today I'm going to utilize my mind. Today I'm going to take responsibility of my own consciousness, right? And on a moment-to-moment basis, I'm going to decide to utilize this gift that I was given, right? Because we are constantly in a creative state or a destructive state, right? You're either creating or disintegrating in this life. There's no real in between. So you got to know that you have a responsibility to create. And when you create, it requires your mind, right, to start to get in that creative state, right, to get in that position in that you want out of life, right, is going to require you utilizing your higher intelligence. Now, a lot of people don't use their mind. A lot of people don't think. A lot of people don't reason. A lot of people stay in the cycle that they choose to stay in their whole life. And that's because they fail to utilize one of their greatest gifts, right? And it's a gift at the end of the day. No one recognizes it. It is a gift in this life. Why is it a gift? Because did you ask for your mind before you came into this life? I know I didn't consciously say, yo, I want to make sure that I have a mind when I get there. No, that was for me, it's a gift, right? Because once again, you can use it to work for your advantage, just like a computer or a cell phone. These can be liabilities in the sense of, they can be distractions from what it is that you want. Or they can be tools and instruments that help you in this life to do what you want to do and experience what you want to experience. So this is all a result of how you're utilizing your own mind on a moment-to-moment basis, right? So recognize that. That's the first reason why most people are suffering in this life, because they fail to utilize their mind. Number two, this is huge. I recognize this. Had to be around 2020 when I first met my mentor. In the summer, well, it was right before this. It was like May 2020. I remember flying out to San Jose and recognizing that, man, my life is now, it feels like I'm living on purpose, right? I remember feeling as if I was doing exactly what I needed to do. And that feeling you won't be able to take away, right, from my experience or your experience, right? When you do something that's in alignment with your own personal purpose in this life, right, you're going to, have a new reality as a result of you having a purpose, or you having something that you're moving towards, right? So number two is the lack of that, right? The number two reason why most people suffer in this life is the lack of their purpose. You see, I wrote a book last year. It's called Purpose Over Pleasure. And essentially, I came to understand that when I was writing that book, that my purpose in this life was beyond just this moment. It's beyond just this era, if you will, right? Or this transition that we've been in for the last, 3 years, whatever the case may be. Really, my whole life, I feel like it's been a whole transitional period, right? But when I recognize that I have something greater to do in this life, right? I have something that's beyond just this moment, right? If I recognize, okay, I can say, yo, I want to be a millionaire. Yo, I want to have, such and such car. Yo, I want to, have such and such relationships. For most people, that's where things, fall under: wealth, health, and relationships. That's one area that you can start to look at, right? But if you really looked at life and you saw that you have some kind of purpose, you have some kind of reasoning why you're doing what you're doing on a moment-to-moment basis. When you recognize, yo, this is why I'm doing this. When you recognize this is my purpose, then you have something to push you beyond what your daily experience would be if you didn't have it, right? Most people are operating in the sense of not having a purpose, not knowing and understanding what they want out of life, right? So when you take on the responsibility and you say, you know what, I'm going to decide today that 20 years from now, I want to live in this level of experience. I want to experience this type of, the reality. I want this to be the next version of me that you see, right, in the next 20 years, right? So think about any activity that you're doing on a moment-to-moment basis. If you took on 20 years of responsibility and you said, I'm going to do the same thing for 20 years. That's what Napoleon Hill did. If anybody's read the book, Think and Grow Rich, he took on a perspective and understood okay, I'm going to have to invest at least 20 years based on this man who's the wealthiest man in the world, right? Dale Carnegie at the time. Based on his conversation with him, he told him he had to invest 20 years of his life. So if you had to invest 20 years of your life into something, what would that look like? What would that translate to? That's what a purpose is. Number 3, as a third reason why you're suffering in this life, and it's something that, you know, is very sensitive for a lot of people because it's, you know, a part of the conditioning and programming that's been, it's been a part of our conditioning and programming. I mean, my whole life. I can't think of one time where this wasn't made as a very big deal, right? To have as a part of my daily experience, right? But essentially the reason why you're suffering is because you've been overeating. You've been overeating in this life, right? So knowing and recognizing, yo, I'm overeating, I'm taking in way too much of my system on a day-to-day basis. You're going to suffer. And the reason why you're suffering is not because, oh man, you feel so full and whatnot. No, you got to recognize when you're putting food into your system, when you're putting food into your system is now going to work on breaking down, adding more energy to what it is that you consume. It requires energy to process what it is that you put into your body, right? So when you are conscious of what you're putting in your body on a moment-to-moment basis, and you're deciding, yo, let me just reduce how much I'm eating on a day-to-day basis. When you make that decision, you see the effects that you create on your own body. And not only that, your gut is known as your second brain. Why is that? It's because it starts to transmute the energy, the source that you put into your body. And as it goes inside, it starts to transmute and it comes out once again as energy into your body, right? And so there's a blood flow. So there's, you know, direction and you know, oxygen moving to your body. There's you know, elements that happen or have motion in your body, right? So that would be number 3 as the reason why you may be suffering in this life. Overeating. Number 4, the reason why most people are suffering in this life is because they are operating in this life alone. They think that they got to go here and do this there and so on and so forth. No, when you belong to a mastermind, when you belong to a group that's greater than just you, and you guys have a greater purpose, you no longer suffer for that element in life. You no longer, look, if you're not in a relationship, or let's say that you are in a relationship, right? You may be not or suffering in either one of those aspects. You may be suffering in either one, right? Being in a relationship or not being in a relationship. But if you're looking for healing in that, you want to be able to connect with somebody, right? You want to be able to connect with, you know, other men. You know what I'm saying? If you're a man, you want to be able to connect with other men, powerful men, ethical men, right? Intelligent men. You don't want to go into a room alone and operate alone. You know, you don't want to do everything that you do in this life by yourself. Yes, there's a certain element that you can learn to appreciate life by yourself from your own perspective. But things are different when you belong to a group, when you move with a pack, when you learn to cooperate with life, with other people, not just yourself. Because where you start is with yourself, right? But when you create with others, there's a different dynamic that starts to happen. So most people are suffering for that fact that they have not yet taken on the responsibility to connect with other individuals and seek out greater individuals to be around, not just individuals who you know, have the intentions of staying the same or doing what they're doing at a great rate that they're doing. No, we want individuals that seek greatness, that seek evolution, that seek growth. So you have an ability to start to migrate towards that and to understand what that means for you in this life, right? You don't have to be alone. And even with relationships, right? You can have a relationship that truly feeds the aspect of your soul, but that's under your direction, especially as a man here in 2023. Most men in this time, in this era, are not leading. They're not being in cooperation, right? Or they're not seeking to lead her. They don't seek to be a leader in any manner, right? So when you decide that you're not going to just exist in this planet alone, you want to do something with somebody else, then all the details fill in for themselves, right? All the in-betweens. So you can recognize that and know that that's your responsibility. Once again, you can respond differently to life and decide, I'm not going to suffer for being alone any point in time. I'm going to connect with somebody else. I'm going to be a part of this group, right? And you know, if you're here and you're tapped in, you have an ability to tap in with other men that are living on purpose day to day, and that's IMT Nation, right? So recognize that, knowing that, and understand that that's, once again, it's your responsibility. You have an ability to respond to life and connect with other people. So if you have, if you're here and you're tapped in, you have not tapped in with the master's table, right? I can't tell you what you're missing out on. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. You're on the outside, right? But we have recordings that are available. We've been going for over 2.5 years. So you got some homework to do. My final point on 5 reasons why you're suffering is that most people who find themselves in a state of suffering truly lack this one thing. And this one thing is so simple that most people fail to recognize that this is actually a challenge for a lot of people, right? To be able to change and mend your own perspective, right? So number 5 would be the lack of perspective. You lack the perspective to be able to look at life this way and to live in this experience and to do these things and to, have the mindset to set your mind on what you want and go after without apology. You've been lacking that. A lot of people, you remain suffering because you have failed to decide on what you want and go after it. And not only that, you've been lacking the perspective, meaning that I see this almost every episode, right? But when you recognize that you have an ability to change what you see on the outside by first changing it on the inside. This quote is, when you change the way you look at things, things change. What if you change the way that you are perceiving money? What if you change the way that you perceive relationships? What if you change the way that you perceive yourself? You would actually know and have understanding or insight into what it's like to have perspective or to have the ability to shift perspective and focus on what you want in this life. Regardless of what they told you, you have an ability to change your perception. You don't have to look at life the way that they tell you, once again. And what you set your mind on is what you will attract to you. What you want is on a mindset. It's on a certain frequency. And so you got to take your mind to that frequency in order to know and understand what that is going to translate like in your life. For me, that's vitally important to know and recognize, right? That all of us are going to continue to suffer in this life until you take on the responsibility of those 5 things in which I just listed. Let's go through them again. Not utilizing your mind, the lack of purpose, overeating, being alone, and a lack of perspective. Those 5 things in this life are what will hold you to your suffering in this life, right? So the opposite of each one of those, you using your mind, having a definite purpose in this life, being conscious of what it is you're putting into your body, connecting and being a part of a group or a mastermind of some sort, and having your mind set to the frequency that you want to operate on. Imagine how much more powerful you could be in this life. Imagine what effects you could create in your world. Imagine what you could do if you had no limits. If, the whole phrase, no cap. Have you ever heard somebody say no cap? What does that mean? No cap means no limits, no limitations. No, I'm not capping what I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's it. No, there's more to that, right? So imagine if you had no cap on your mind. Imagine if you had no cap as to what your purpose could be, what you really create as an effect on this world. Imagine what's possible. You got to really recognize everything is happening as a result of where you are directing and setting your mind. Master Mycellf preaching today, man. What's going on out here? You know, you tapping in. I truly want everybody to know and understand the value of that, right? And you know, there's really no limitations on what your experience could be. But the only limitation is when you fail to take on the responsibility and then respond differently to life, right? To say, you know what, I'm going to use my mind today. That means when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to intentionally set my mind to the frequency that I desire, right? I'm going to use my mind. I'm going to read. I'm going to study. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to expand in this life. And I'm going to choose to use my mind. I'm going to experience life differently as a result of the way that I use my mind. I'm going to live on purpose. I'm going to decide that, you know, this moment's going to translate to moments where I say 20 years from now, man, remember when I was on IMC TV speaking to, you know, some brothers on YouTube and things of that nature and IG, right? Remember when, right? Knowing that 20 years from now, I'll be speaking on world stages, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I'll have my own world stage, if you will, right? Knowing and understanding that we've been conditioned, we've been programmed to live in a certain world of experience. So a part of that was the way that they told us how to eat. That's part of the programming that you have, right? You think you got to eat 3 times a day. I was doing some studying earlier today. They're talking about eat only 1 time a day. Why is that? I know some people that say only eat 1 time a week, 1 time a cycle, right? A lot of people say that. I know I got to wrap up soon because we have some more IMC TV, you know, shows that are coming up shortly. So number 4 was you've been being alone, right? And number 5 was a lack of perspective, a lack of intention, right, for your mindset. So once again, understanding these 5 reasons why you've been suffering, you can now understand 5 reasons on the opposite side of why you are at peace or why you are, you know, living in the lifestyle of your desires, right? Us within IMC Nation, those men that are a part of the Master's Table, the Master's Council, even, who are part of these inner circles, all of us, we've taken on that responsibility, right? We've taken on the responsibility of using our mind. We've taken on the responsibility of using our purpose, right? Or deciding our purpose and moving towards that. We've taken on the responsibility of understanding what we're putting into our bodies on a moment-to-moment basis. Like I was saying before, it probably wasn't the part where I wasn't recording, but I mean, where the audio couldn't hear me. But regardless, every single day I fast. Every single day I fast. I haven't eaten yet today, right? But that's a process that I put into play, right, to help me live life better, for my body to process things better, for my mind to process things better. I'm not putting as much energy and attention towards what it is I'm consuming on a daily basis. I'm not alone. Every single day, I say I'm not. When you see me talking about me, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about IMC Nation, right? When you see me, I am not just me. I am IMC Nation. It's a phrase. And I have perspective. I have the ability to always change and mend and mold, right, or make my perspective malleable, right, to what it is that I want, right? When you change the way that you look at things, things change. with those 5 things in mind, once again, you can understand how to lead exactly where you want to. Here to the brothers that are here online, if y'all have things or comments or anything like that, or questions, even of course progress, and do our meditative moment, and then we'll wrap up for today. Appreciate everybody being on. You're live on the gram as well. Salute.
Yeah. If the connection's working and everything's there, I would just like to, first of all, say you're definitely right. Suffering is, if you point back to the root cause of everything you've said, it's just people's lack of utilization of everything that's right there. Like, the suffering is self-imposed. So just like the Buddha said, right thought, right action, and right speech. And it's the things that come out of you that condemn you.
Yeah.
It's not what goes into you. That's why you can't poison a saint. Like, you poison a saint, and that person that poisoned them ends up dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Like, what a gift.
Right.
What a gift.
That part. That's what it comes down to, man. And thank you for that insight. It's huge that, you know, when you recognize that everything is up to how you're going to utilize it, right? How are you utilizing your time? How are you utilizing your energy? How are you utilizing your body? How are you utilizing your mind, right? Being aware of these things, you can be at rest or be at peace, knowing that, yo, I'm doing something with my life. I'm doing something with my attention, my consciousness, my energy and whatnot, right? And that's insight that I can tell you as I'm living from that experience. Each one of these men that are here and live are also living from that experience, right? And it looks different, right? But we all come from that foundation of understanding that, yo, I'm either in action or creation in my life, or I'm literally destroying my life, or I'm disintegrating in this life, right? So you have an ability to truly create, to truly grow, to truly mend and mold what you want out of life, based on the habits that you have and the conversations that you have, the people that you're engaged with, right? So on and so forth, right? So once again, thank you, TL, for tapping in. Is anybody else? TXL, my fault. Anybody else have any other insights before we go ahead and transition to the meditative moment?
Yeah, every single white woman out there, it's like, don't be scared. Feel free to express yourself. You know
That part. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, shout out to all the white women out here. You know what I'm saying? Every woman that's out here, you know. We got love for every size, you know what I'm saying? Every race. Yeah, it's all love. It's all love all the way around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for the bitches that are out of line, it's like love includes a swift kick in the ass. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, not everybody's fit for royal treatment, but everybody deserves some love, whether it's tough love or some gentle, soft, nurturing love. That's what it is.
Yes, sir. It's a fact. Crazy how things worked out today, man. I literally I was going in the first half, man, the 30 minutes ahead of time. So appreciate everybody bearing with me as I was regathering my thoughts and tapping in. Hopefully it was extremely valuable for everybody that was on. It was valuable for me, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to speak from my perspective and give insights as to what I can see as a reason why most people are suffering. This came to me earlier today during my meditation. And, I lived from this experience once again, right, on the opposite side. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and tap in and let's get to our meditative moment. So wherever it is that you are, whatever it is that you're doing, let's take a moment to essentially tap into the inner world, right? Post this on Instagram real quick. Maybe I'll do this right after. So I'm gonna set a timer for, we'll go for 3 minutes here. You can close your eyes, wherever it is that you are, and start to tap into your inner world, your inner experience. As you are tapping into your inner world, take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. Feel your body relax. Your consciousness start to ease. Get familiar with your inner world, your inner experience. Taking another deep breath in through your nose and letting it out through your mouth. Relax even deeper. Enjoy your inner space. Good clarity on how you want to see yourself as you move forward. How do people talk to you? How do you correlate to life? As you take another deep breath in through your nose. This time, hold it with your lungs full at the top. And breathe out, relax. Going even deeper into your own mind, your own world, your own inner space. Get very clear on what you want to see on the inside, and know that as surely as you create on the inside, it will manifest outside. Enjoy the next minute, 50 seconds of peace. So we come to the final 30 seconds of this practice. Appreciate yourself. Thank yourself. Taking time out of your day to level up, to tap in, and to create from the world within. Nobody can do you better than you. You are the one and only version of yourself. So thank yourself for that. Begin to wake yourself up to your external world again. I want to say salute to all the brothers that tapped in, and we're here live, of course. Man, go after life this cycle, right? Tap in, truly become who you want to become, do what you want to do. You know, there's no limits. Once again, there's no cap on your experience, right? So tap in, man, and truly decide that, you know, today you're going to take responsibility for your life and live the reality that you create and settle for nothing less, all right? I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Salute to all the warriors. As we always say in IMC Nation, be the best and fuck the rest. Knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth. It's the one and only Master